Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a very intriguing topic over here where we now have Xbox becoming one of the most, if not the actual most, expensive company in the entire planet. Now, we're going to go talk about this because it also has some ties into with the Activision deal, PlayStation revenues, Xbox revenues, the future of, well, everything as gaming as a whole, and right now we even have some really nifty websites that are now showcasing up the largest market caps of all the gaming spheres. Now, if you guys are someone like me, I always love the idea of seeing like revenues, how businesses are run, how businesses expand, the future of businesses, mainly because I want to see if my PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, whatever, in the long term is going to keep on being relevant, it's going to be price changes or whatever it might be, but I love getting to see this stuff. So we're going to go talk about this all right now and showing that Xbox is the most, well, at this point, well, the biggest company in the entire planet, with a little asterisk involved as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below if you guys want to follow, for all the other various links too as well. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Let's go dive on into the video itself. So very first and foremost, right now, there is a kind of somewhat big thing where Microsoft is now the world's most valuable public company of all time. Now, this has always been kind of a back and forth. Right now, it's kind of why people call things like FANG. We have like Google, you have Apple, you have Microsoft, and they're kind of always bouncing around. Like, there's not many companies that are worth trillions of dollars in terms of their market cap, and so far, these are some of them. Microsoft and Apple are pretty much like the two biggest competing products. But also, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. What is pretty much throughout the entire planet? Computers. So think Windows, think things like, say, like cloud hosting, think things like Bing, think things like Xbox for the gaming division, or as well think for Apple, think what does everyone have on the entire planet? Probably an Apple iPhone or things like Macs, also competing with the computer industry too as well. So they're always kind of going back and forth. But who also owns Xbox? This is where the little bit of the asterisk is. Obviously, Microsoft owns Xbox, and they have a chance to go and conglomerate everything into, say, cloud gaming, cloud hosting, the Microsoft Windows Store, which also does have movies and other various things also for sale, Game Pass too as a whole, which also once again ties into, say, cloud gaming. Right now, it seems like Xbox is the most, well, basically valuable thing on the entire planet as of right this second, in terms of one of their subsidiaries from Microsoft. That is the caveat for it. But it's been very intriguing to go and see for this one, because if you guys have missed it, right now you guys look at the biggest and largest video game companies by market cap. They have 231 companies over here on this really cool website called Companies Market Cap, where we have Microsoft over here at the $2.8 trillion right now, and they had a pretty good run up over here too as well in their markets. Some other companies such as Tencent, which are also massive conglomerates right now, involving themselves in big things like Epic Games, League of Legends, and other very huge games as well, has also been growing astronomically at the $300 billion price tag. Sony as an overall company too as well, and if we're comparing, say, Sony or Nintendo, at this point it makes sense. Like, Sony makes cameras, they make movies, they make whatever stuff, and it kind of goes to show how small of a company Sony is in comparison. And this is also something I kind of wish they would have brought up more, because I think Sony did try when it came to the Activision acquisition, because if you look at something, say, like Activision itself, that was a huge company that was almost as valuable, if not more valuable, depending on what you say, for companies like Nintendo. This is right, the second Activision was bought for $69 billion. As of right now, Nintendo's market is at $65 billion, which is absolutely insane to go and see. If you guys just want to look at other companies, EA is at $37 billion, Take-Two, $27, Roblox as a whole, $25, which I'll also be very curious to see in how Minecraft, if it was its own individual company, would else be tied in with that one. We also have the Aristocrat and C, which I'm not sure exactly what are these. I think Garena has worked with League of Legends and other companies too as well. Nexon, MapleStory, other shooter games, etc. Bandai, obviously huge as well. Unity, which is kind of intriguing to see this one, especially with how much drama it's been into, especially in comparison to Epic Games. And also, Epic Games as a whole is not a public company, so we'd have to see, although companies like Sony and Tencent have invested into them too as well. Capcom has been doing very well at $7 billion, and some of these other various things such as Konami too as well. So I'm sure you see GameStop, $4 billion, Square Enix, 4.7. I'm just trying to pull out some notable ones for you guys. Sega over here too, Ubisoft at $3 billion, which is actually gone down quite a bit, like a lot bigger than expected. CD Projekt Red at $2 billion, Cyberpunk, Witcher. You guys can kind of just see Corsair at $1 billion for some other various plot things too as well. It's kind of just crazy to go and see. But if you guys kind of look through all these various numbers too, and all these other various companies, they're now kind of roaching into like the non-billion dollars. Some, don't forget, are also private subsidiaries, such as, say, like Bethesda, that's just owned by Microsoft, or say Bungie, which would also be up around the Heroes range or so, but it was also bought out by PlayStation. So it does make a lot of sense. Well, as of right this second, Xbox, by all technicalities, because Microsoft is owned, is the most, well, expensive company in the entire planet. Now, obviously, Microsoft gets a lot more value from certain things such as their cloud hosting. I think at this point, that probably makes them a lot more money. Or say like Windows products, Windows like Office. That probably is making more money than Xbox. That's just how it is. Like, that's just like a huge part of the company itself. And what grew the company, government officials throughout the entire planet, people are using stuff such as Windows. And you have to pay money for it. You have to pay the licensing fees, or say like Windows Teams, big corporate companies that are not using Slack. And right this second, it's big. Now, Sony obviously is a small company in comparison, which is why like I'm not like too anti the Activision deal. They throw it up on Game Pass, I'm happy. But when it comes to PlayStation as a whole, you don't have to go and factor on in that the Activision deal was around $70 billion, and that's pretty much over half the entire price point that Sony had. So I'm also kind of curious because that was like another big profit main driver with the PlayStation consoles. Sony makes a lot of money from PlayStation in terms of their ratio of their company. So once again, that does kind of push a bit more towards monopolistic routes, and I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger argument because you go and drop $70 billion, which is literally bigger and more expensive than Nintendo. Like, I should have been a lawyer. I probably would have helped out in this case a lot because they could have literally bought Nintendo. That's why there's even some rumors that Microsoft wanted to buy Nintendo as a whole. Although that probably would also once again lead towards big monopoly rights and issues because that is probably the one other competitor besides PlayStation. Makes sense. But it's crazy to see these numbers and also putting a perspective, because if you've also seen this, and we talked about this in prior videos, with the brand new Activision deal going on, this is like not trying to be anti-Xbox or Microsoft. I think it's intriguing. With this in the combination, they are now probably the most profitable company too in the gaming sphere. It's the biggest game company if you factor in Xbox, Microsoft. But right now, with their overall profit margins, it's the biggest one. Sony did around the $8 billion mark in 2023. And also, if you look at, say, Microsoft, too, as well, as the $10.4 billion point, too, as well. So you have to go factor in the brand new increased revenue they have with Activision, if they include the both. So it's at $10.4 billion, which in theory, you could also maybe look at Tencent is still technically making more money, depending on how this type of stuff would be. But as well, also to factor into, there's going to be other bigger things too as well, outside deals, et cetera, et cetera. And then also the fact that Tencent too as well doesn't have their own individual ecosystem and stuff. They basically just have parts of various profitable companies, such as League of Legends as well. If you guys kind of look at Sony too, Sony is actually then technically behind on top of that. And as well, even with things like Apple or even Microsoft, they're also actually lower too as well. Although don't forget, Apple is mainly making a lot of money from other various platforms, but I mean, $7 billion is still a very large chunk, especially if you're factoring Microsoft's at only $9 billion too as well. If you look at these proper, like the combinations, or at $10 billion, they combine it as well. So it's crazy to go into that Xbox is the most profitable console at this point in terms of pure revenues, especially because if you have the Activision brand under Xbox, which it is by legal documentation, that goes and shows that they are the most profitable gaming console. As well as you also go and factor in the charts we showed you guys here before, Microsoft is now the most profitable company, well, not profitable, most expensive company in the entire planet, which is intriguing to go and see because even if you look at the revenues that Tencent has, they're still on their market cap way lower. So you have to also factor in too that Tencent is pure gaming. So, like, they also have other, like, they just own a lot of bits and pieces of different companies. While Sony, once again, has, like, their cameras, they have their movies, they have their TVs, they have other various products, camcorders, whatever. And obviously, Microsoft has Windows, Offices, cloud hosting, Bing, like, many other various sources, too, as well. But this was crazy because Xbox is going to be making money. With the new Activision acquisitions, be making a lot more money than Sony. And what does it mean when you make more money? You could also then keep on reinvesting more money, and then it will also incentivize more folks to push into the Game Pass subscription. You have more free money to go and spend. You get $10 billion worth of revenue, go drop $2 billion once a year, get a bunch of brand new exclusive deals, and at the same time build up more studios, or even buy out more studios too as well. Don't forget games like Bethesda, game companies like Bethesda basically also turn out a lot of money and also drive up Game Pass too. So at the end of the day, like this could, if it was still allowed legally, they should keep on going for huge acquisitions. Or what I'd probably do if I was them, try to go build up their own individual studios and IPs, mainly because it is the biggest company in the entire planet. They got the money and they can go and churn money a lot. Although there has been a lot of layoffs going on in the gaming sphere as a whole, this is still crazy numbers to go and see nonetheless. Mainly because if we keep on looking at all these ones, it does seem like Xbox will be beating PlayStation in revenue. revenues. Also definitely beating Nintendo too as well. They'll be also beating them in terms of overall general market cap for the big daddy companies such as Microsoft too. And it's crazy to go and see this overall. And as well, even some prices are even going up too for other various locations and places, and it makes things a little bit harder for people to buy the games, but at the same time, they are churning money nonstop. So I want to hear your thoughts. Just put up like a nice little update video, kind of give you guys the status of Xbox as a whole. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We got the Twitter and Twitch room down below in case you guys want to follow. And I appreciate you guys all so much here for watching here in the first place. And you guys are bored, go subscribe.